There's something quietly extraordinary happening in your mind right now. While most people skim the surface of their thoughts like stones across water, there are those who dive beneath, explorers of their own consciousness, architects of profound understanding. The question is, are you one of them? What if I told you that the way you think could place you in the top 1% of deep thinkers? That certain behaviors, certain patterns in how you process the world, mark you as fundamentally different from most people walking this planet? This isn't about intelligence. It's not about education or genius. It's about something far more fascinating, a different way of experiencing reality itself. Let me take you on a journey into the mind of a deep thinker, and by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand. Picture this. You're at a party. Someone asks you a simple question. So what do you think about the new restaurant downtown? Most people respond instantly. They've got an opinion ready, formed from gut instinct and first impressions. But you pause. Not because you don't have an answer, but because you're running through multiple dimensions of the question. The quality of the food, yes, but also the atmosphere, the ethics of their sourcing, how it fits into the neighborhood's character, whether the price reflects the value. In that brief moment of silence, you've traveled through a labyrinth of considerations that others never even glimpse. This is the first sign you're a deep thinker. You engage System 2 thinking. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman revolutionized our understanding of the mind by identifying two distinct thought systems. System 1 is fast, intuitive, automatic. It's the mental shortcut that keeps us efficient. System 2 is slow, deliberate, analytical. It's the conscious effort to question, examine, and truly understand. While everyone uses both systems, deep thinkers naturally gravitate towards System 2 thinking, carefully analyzing situations rather than relying purely on intuition. They don't just accept their initial gut reactions, they question and evaluate them. And here's what's fascinating. Research tracking people's daily behaviors found that approximately 43% of our daily activities are performed habitually while thinking about something else entirely. But deep thinkers resist this autopilot mode when it matters. They deliberately engage their conscious mind, which requires significant mental effort, focus, and concentration. Think of it as choosing to climb a mountain when everyone else takes the cable car. It's harder, yes, but the view is incomparable. But deep thinking isn't just about effort. It's about what happens when you're not trying at all. Which brings us to the second sign. If you need solitude like others need air, you're likely a deep thinker. Deep thinkers are predominantly introverts who prefer to recharge themselves by having me time, spending most of their time in their heads, constantly analyzing the information they're exposed to. This isn't antisocial behavior or awkwardness, it's cognitive necessity. Here's the remarkable part. Deep thinkers need more time to process and recover from all that deep thought, especially those with sensory processing sensitivity who take in more environmental information and stimuli than the average person. When deep thinkers spend time alone, seemingly daydreaming or zoning out, they're actually making their deep thinking possible and productive. It's like a computer running complex background processes. From the outside, it looks idle, but internally, incredible work is happening. Your mind is literally different. Deep thinking is a higher cognitive process that involves the use of newer brain regions, like the prefrontal cortex, breaking problems down into components to understand underlying principles and mechanics. This gives you a greater ability to project the present into both the past, understanding causation, and into the future, making predictions. You're not just experiencing the moment, you're simultaneously analyzing its origins and extrapolating its consequences. The third sign might surprise you. You're paralyzed by decisions, but only the ones that matter. Deep thinkers need time to fully consider topics and collect all facts before making decisions, which can frustrate people around them who demand immediate answers. You're not indecisive, you're thorough. You examine problems from every conceivable angle, considering variables others don't even see. That dinner reservation? You've already thought about traffic patterns, parking availability, whether the timing works with everyone's energy levels, if the menu accommodates dietary restrictions, and a backup plan if something goes wrong. And once you've made that decision, It stands on a foundation of granite because you've already stress tested it against every possible scenario, anticipated every potential pitfall. Your solutions are more robust, more resilient. They don't just work, they endure. Here's the fourth sign, and it's one of the most telling. You observe what others overlook. Deep thinkers possess a keen sense of observation. They don't just look, they truly see, picking up on subtle details and nuances that others might overlook. You notice the micro-expression that flashes across someone's face before they smile. You catch the slight tremor in someone's voice that reveals their true feelings. You see patterns in chaos, connections where others see randomness. Studies published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found a positive correlation between being highly observant and having a greater capacity for empathy. This makes evolutionary sense. To truly understand another person, you must first notice them. And deep thinkers notice everything. It's simultaneously a gift and a burden because once you've seen these details, you can't unsee them. The world becomes a rich tapestry of information, constantly streaming, endlessly fascinating, occasionally overwhelming. The fifth sign, you're drawn to complexity like moths to flame. Deep thinkers have an appetite for intellectual challenges, enjoying complex puzzles, thought-provoking books, and engaging in stimulating conversations that challenge their thinking. Where others see a problem and feel frustrated, you feel excited, energized. There's something deeply satisfying about wrestling with a genuinely difficult concept, about feeling your brain stretch to accommodate new ideas. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who enjoy cognitive challenges tend to have higher levels of need for cognition, a trait associated with enjoying thinking and problem solving. This isn't masochism, it's your mind craving the workout it was built for. Simple problems feel like empty calories. They might satisfy temporarily, but they don't nourish you. You need the intellectual equivalent of a 7-course meal, something you can really sink your teeth into. And this is why small talk feels like torture. Which brings us to the sixth and final sign. Deep thinkers prefer meaningful, in-depth conversations over small talk, craving intellectual stimulation and connection on a deeper level. At that same party we imagined earlier, while others discuss weather and weekend plans, you're trapped in a conversation that feels suffocatingly shallow. You're not being pretentious. You're literally experiencing discomfort. Your mind is built for depth, and surface-level interaction feels like trying to breathe in a room without enough oxygen. When you do find someone willing to discuss ideas, philosophies, the why beneath the what, something magical happens. Time disappears. The party fades away. You found your element. These are the connections that sustain you, not small talk with many, but deep conversation with few. But here's what most people don't understand about deep thinking. It comes with a cost. Deep thinkers were often misunderstood in school, told they were wrong or lazy, and even academic successes often felt they had to give up a part of themselves to achieve. This disconnect can undermine confidence and self-concept even into adulthood. You might have spent years wondering if something was wrong with you. Why couldn't you just be like everyone else? Why did everything have to be so complicated? The truth is, nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken, you're rare. Deep thinkers often compete intellectually with other deep thinkers to raise their status. And this tendency to analyze extends even to their own negative emotions, which the mind uses to push them into using System 2 thinking to solve complex life problems. When you feel stressed or anxious, your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's trying to force you to think deeper about a problem that requires deep analysis. Understanding this changes everything. Those moments of overthinking you have been fighting, they might be your greatest strength, not your biggest weakness. The key is learning to harness them. So where does this leave you? If you recognize yourself in these 6 signs, if you pause before answering, crave solitude, agonize over important decisions, notice what others miss, hunger for complexity, and despise superficial conversation, then congratulations. You're among the rare few who think deeper than 99% of people, and the world desperately needs you. Deep thinkers' abilities to be individuals and think as individuals are vital. Their ability to think differently helps devise new solutions, inventions, and ideas for the benefit of all. While they're often criticized for their unique approach to life, history's greatest innovations, discoveries, and philosophical breakthroughs came from minds like yours. Minds that couldn't accept easy answers. Minds that had to understand the depths. Your depth of thought isn't a character flaw to overcome. It's a cognitive gift to cultivate. Yes, it makes life more complex. Yes, it can be exhausting, but it also allows you to see what others cannot, to understand what others will not, to create what others dare not imagine. The question isn't whether you should think deeply. You couldn't stop if you tried. The question is, what will you do with this extraordinary capacity? How will you use your ability to see beneath the surface, to question the unquestioned, to forge connections others never considered? Because in a world increasingly dominated by quick takes and surface-level analysis, deep thinkers aren't just valuable, they're essential. They're the ones who will solve the problems everyone else has given up on. They're the ones who will ask the questions no one else thinks to ask. They're the ones who will understand the complexity everyone else wishes away. So if you're a deep thinker, embrace it. Find your tribe, the other rare souls who understand what it's like to live in the depths. Create space for the solitude you need. Don't apologize for taking time to think. And above all, trust that your different way of seeing the world isn't a burden to bear, but a light to share. The surface is crowded, but down in the depths where you naturally dwell, there's room to breathe, space to think, and potential to discover what no one else can see. That's where you belong. That's where you thrive. That's where you're needed most. Welcome to the deep end. The water's fine.